right.
Counting the.
Cost of a challenging quarantine.
How was that?
The quarantine?
Yeah.
It was challenging.
What did you do?
The first few days were kind of difficult because I didn't know what to do. But after maybe a couple days, I said, okay, I have to develop a routine. And I don't know if you've heard of New Start, but it kind of went along with New Start.
What is that?
Well, New Start is a bunch of like health habits that we have, that we can follow, and kind of like sleeping, resting, eating properly, getting exercise, that kind of stuff, like healthy stuff.
Okay.
Eating healthy, sleeping healthy, exercising, all that stuff.
I thought you were already doing that.
Yeah, but in quarantine, it's very difficult to maintain a routine.
So how did you do it?
Well, I decided I would start. I landed on a Tuesday, and then I decided I would start. When did I start? I didn't start right away. I started maybe the Sunday after I landed. I said, okay, it's a new week, it's a new start. So I started my routine. And I had a plan. So Saturday I went to bed early, even though it was hard to sleep and to get over jet lag because I wasn't really doing much. But in the morning, I said, okay, go to sleep early, wake up early, and the first thing you do is read my lesson study and spend some time with God. After that, that was like from 5 to around 6. And then from 6 to like 7, I would answer messages that came in during the day. Oh, and I had no Wi-Fi, by the way, during quarantine. It was very minimal. I bought 15 gigs, and within the first 3 days, it was almost all gone. So then I ran out of things to do. That's why Sunday. So I got my Wi-Fi on Thursday midnight, but it wouldn't Thursday afternoon, but it didn't start working till midnight. So from midnight until Saturday, it was almost all gone because I connected to Sabbath school on Friday, and then I connected to Sabbath school and sermons on Saturday. So that involves video, and it takes a lot of gigs. And then I talked to family and friends, so it was almost all gone within the first couple days. So I had to have another plan. I had to develop my plan. So that's where the routine came in. So I only used Wi-Fi to message so that it wouldn't finish. I didn't check Facebook. I didn't check Instagram. So I kind of took a cleanse from Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, so that was my routine. 5 o'clock, go to bed at 9. I would go to bed at 9, like 9 o'clock, wake up. I made myself sleep until 5, then wake up and do my lesson study. Sometimes that took from 5 to 6, however much, at least an hour for everything that I did. And then 6 to 7, something like that, I would answer messages. And then 7 to 8, I did my exercise, which I started jump roping and doing some ab workouts, something that would make me sweat a lot. And then I would stretch. So all that would take about an hour or so of exercise and stretching. And then after that, I started to take cold showers. I turned off the water heater, all the hot water, and I just took cold showers for a week and a half. They say cold showers are good for your system. So I took cold showers, and then I took a cold shower, and then I'd get my breakfast ready. I brought food from the States to eat, so I would have my big bowl of raw oats with raw nuts. And thankfully, I had friends who came and brought me almond milk. So I had the almond milk, and I would measure everything that I ate because the house where I was had a little measuring thing. So I didn't want to overeat or undereat. I'm like, okay, my goal is 2,000 calories. I was counting my calories. So I would have breakfast. And then after breakfast, I would read the Desire of Ages and then write a short summary or long summary, whatever. If it was the first or second reading, it just depended how I felt, if I was ready to write a summary or not. And then at 10 to 11, I would talk to family, usually my parents. So that was my routine. And then 11 to 1, it was sunbathing time. Thankfully, the house where I was at had a balcony. So I was able to get fresh air and sunshine. So from 11 to 2, that was sunbathing time. And then when I got hungry, I would have a big salad. And then the rest of the day was pretty much just, if there was messages, I answered messages. If someone called me on the phone, I would talk to them on the phone. By 2 o'clock, I was done with my activities for the day. So like 3 o'clock, I was done. From 5 to 3 o'clock, I was done. So I had nothing to do after 3 o'clock. So then I would start pacing around the whole house, pacing back and forth. But after 2 or 3 days, that got really boring. And actually, I felt like I was going crazy because it's just a small space that you go back and forth, back and forth. So I depended on people calling me, or sometimes I had my friends. I had a couple friends who would come visit, and they'd sit on the bottom, and I'd be on the top, and we'd talk. So that was a blessing. And then to see people in person, and to actually see people in person was very important, because just texting is not enough, actually. To be able to see people and to talk to people face to face, whether it's video or they're in person, it's important to not go crazy. And then I'd have my dinner around 5, and then a friend brought me a puzzle and brought me some coloring things. So some days I would color, some days I would, I don't know, do the puzzle. Other days, I don't know, I would just lay there on the floor or lay there outside, because I spent a lot of my time outside. I would get my breakfast, everything I did, I went outside.
You're talking about balcony.
On the balcony, yeah, on the balcony. Yeah. So that's how I spent my time in quarantine. I survived with the routine, and I arrived weighing 200. Wait, let me tell you in kilos. I arrived weighing 100. Oh crap! How much? Wait, I can't remember how much the conversion is.
You weigh more than 100 kilos?
Yes, I did. I gained a lot of weight when I went home.
Oh my.
And
I mean, you're big, so.
I'm already big, but I was bigger. And so I came weighing 102 kilos.
Wow.
And by the time I left quarantine, I was back to 97 kilos.
How much did you weigh before you went to America?
97.
Oh, you came back.
Yeah, after quarantine. So instead of gaining weight in quarantine from not moving, I lost weight.
Oh, that's
from eating right, from resting properly, from drinking plenty of water, taking cold showers, having sunshine, studying my Bible. Like, keeping that routine really helped my body.
Wow, that sounds like your own lifestyle program.
Yeah, so I know how to start one. Now, if I can just find people, they can come. I can train them. No Wi-Fi. You have to get rid of Wi-Fi. That takes a lot of your time, and it by the time it was dark, 8 o'clock, I was ready to sleep. If I didn't have messages to answer or people to talk to, I was asleep.
I mean, I remember the times when I was put in a similar situation all by myself, and sometimes it was better that I was put in that circumstance. So, what are the things that you really appreciate that you actually had?
Oh, I'm glad I had a shower. I'm glad like this quarantine place had a balcony for me. And I think without that balcony, I don't believe I would have survived because whether it rained or shined, I was outside on that balcony. Even I just laid down on a piece of cardboard. You know how there's Job in the Bible, how he's just sitting there, trying to get over his pain and his anguish and suffering. I felt like Job sometimes, but just sitting there, kind of like I had a lot of time to think. I thought about a lot of things. So, so yeah, that balcony saved me. The friends that brought me food saved me because quarantine people, they're just like, well, you have to order on coupon, and I'm like, I don't do anything online. How can I get toilet paper? Because my first day that I went, that I arrived the next day, I had to go do a COVID test. But then I noticed the house didn't have enough toilet paper. So when I was out there, I called them and I was like, can I go to the shop to get some toilet paper? They're like, no, you have to go straight back to the house. I'm like, but I need toilet paper. And they're like, you have to order it online. I'm like, I don't have coupon or anything. They're like, well, you have to have a friend. Well, thankfully, I made what I had last until Saturday when someone brought me toilet paper. I washed like the old days, just water. So um, it helped a lot to be spiritual to survive that time, and so I think um, I needed a lot of mental strength in order to do it. Without that, it's impossible. You can go crazy easily.
Do you feel like
Especially,
yeah? Go.
especially if like me, I'm never inside. I only go inside to sleep. My mom was laughing at me every day. She's like, "Ah, I can't believe you're doing this. You're stuck in a house and you can't move." She was making fun of me every day.
I think it's really good that you kept connecting with people and you kept having a lot of reflection, meditation, a lot of deep thinking time. So
Yeah,
I think, and you also exercise, and you also got the sunshine, you got the rain, you got that outdoor time in the balcony. So you had the good environment and good exercise and good habits and all these things. So do you feel like this time for 2 weeks that you had a lot of self control helped you change your current routine in a more healthy way
definitely, definitely. I don't really check Instagram and Facebook that much. Like I
anymore?
can go to,
Anymore?
yeah, anymore. It's been like I think I checked it first yesterday, because it was raining, so I was just trying to stay awake. But since I got out of quarantine, I maybe checked it 2 or 3 times. Like, and I realized that that takes up a lot of wasted time of just scrolling, because you're not really I don't really post anything. I just scroll through everything, and watch videos, stuff that wastes time. So I don't do that anymore. Um, the first few days, it was a little bit hard to keep my routine because I went to Seoul and I was actually seeing people for the first time. So I think I went to bed at 1 the first night, talking to a friend. I went to her house, and then on the weekend I also went to bed late. But once I came back to my city and my university where I work, like I've been going to bed at 9 every day. 9 every day. Wake up 4 o'clock, do my same routine that I was doing in quarantine. Um, Go to bed early, wake up early, start with my morning devotion, move on to my exercise, take a cold shower, prepare my breakfast, eat, and then I come to work.
So would you say it was a media fast, and it was so the hours that went down and the hours that went up, what are they respectively?
The hours that went down were the time that I spend on media.
Uh huh.
And then the hours that went up were the hours that I spent in like devotions, Bible study, and actually going out and exercising. Like I go
Oh.
out and ride my bike. I can do that, but it it's good to go do that because it's fresh air. But then you also need to make your heart rate go up. So now I also developed I set up a goal because this year I turned 40. So it's like every day I will do exercise that makes me sweat a lot, and that is jump rope and this other cardio exercise. Once it stops raining, then I'll go run after that cardio workout. And then after work, I will either take a walk or go cycling. Yesterday, I tried to cycle, but it started raining and I had to come back. But I was in the process of that. Yeah. So, so that's my plan. That's just the plan. That went up. I haven't had chocolate in over. I can't even remember the last time I had chocolate. And chocolate is one of my weaknesses. Um, I had chocolate in the first week that I arrived, which was the 10th, 11th of August. I had chocolate. And it wasn't even my chocolate, it was my friend's chocolate. She asked me for chocolate, and I ate her chocolate, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I had to eat your chocolate. But since then, I haven't had any chocolate.
So you're doing more rigorous exercise. You're having a more rich spiritual life, and uh,
Eating much, much better
you're eating
than
much
what I was.
much better in terms of cutting down on sugar.
Cutting down on sugar and carbs,
Oh.
starchy carbs.
So what do you used to
I,
eat more? Carb.
you know, it it's really hard to tell sometimes how bad you're eating when you're not paying attention. I would say that I was eating a lot of late dinners and not moving much. I was eating stuff that comes from packages, you know, like processed food, a lot of snacks. Even though I'm not usually eating snacks, but the late dinners and the chocolate and ice cream, and my coworker brings me yummy snacks, so I have to figure out how to adapt to that part because she started hasn't started bringing me snacks, but I told her, hey, I made changes. I can't have any more sugar. Um, so I told her you can't bring me any more chocolate because she was bringing me dark chocolate every day. I'm like, you gotta stop that. So, yeah, quarantine helped to develop uh, habits, good habits.
So you became more selective in your eating, and
Yeah,
I thought you were already eating natural, but I guess you went in entered into a whole another level. I guess.
yes, I
Mm.
would say so.
And no more late night eating, no more junk food.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So so what happens when you uh, arrive at the Korean Incheon International Airport? What do they tell you? What
Oh,
happens?
oh, okay, let me see if I can remember. They herd you into the lines where first, before when you pass the health check, usually there was no one there to stop you or anything. You just walk through. Now everyone stops you. I wrote down that I had a runny nose, and they made me do an extra check. So I was like, I had allergies. Anyways, after that, they put you in the line, another line where they ask you specifically for COVID symptoms, and they tell you you have to download the app, and they ask for the location of your quarantine. And after that, you go to immigration, and then you pick up your luggage, and then you're out. And then they ask you like, okay, how are you getting to where you're going? Are you going by taxi or do you have a way? And I told them I don't have a way. They're like, okay, get in line here, wait here. We can take you by KTX to Daejeon. So first I went on a bus that took me to the KTX station, and then from there, I was on that bus all by myself, and then from there, made it to the station, paid my tickets, and they put all the people coming from the airport into the last two cars or first two cars of the train, and then we just got off where we needed to get off, and we were met by ajumas, and they were covered, and they sprayed us down with some disinfectant, and they sprayed me and they sprayed my suitcases, and and then they led us to some tents outside where, of course, all these times, like you're like, okay, what's happening next? What's gonna happen? Anyways, so we made up to some tents, and then I wrote down the address of my place, and they're like, okay. I was like, can I get in a taxi? They're like, no, you can't get in a taxi. I was like, okay, then how am I getting there? They're like, oh, you're taking a bus. I'm like, but the bus doesn't go all the way to my quarantine. They're like, yeah, you have to walk. Because where I was, it was narrow streets. So yeah. When the bus dropped me off as far as it can go, then I had to walk the rest of the way. And fortunately, it was uphill. So I had to drag my 23 kilo suitcase, and heavier. One was heavier because I was overweight and I had to carry extra stuff in my hand. I put all that stuff in there. So I had like a 30-kilo suitcase, and the other one was 23. And I had to pull those like maybe 200 meters up. And my quarantine place was on the second floor. And I had to carry the suitcases up myself because they don't help you. Once they take you as far as they go, they expect you to go straight to your quarantine place.
So
And that's how that was.
so
It's a very easy process, actually. Very easy process.
so when you come from abroad, they make sure you don't have COVID, and they require you to download an app that can trace your whereabouts.
Track my whereabouts. Yep.
Ah, I see. And
They
then
thanked me a day before leaving quarantine. They called to thank me. Thank you for observing the quarantine rules.
so what are the things they watch out for when they think it's dangerous, whatever you're doing?
I never even saw anyone. I never met anyone like from the quarantine people. They just, I really don't know how they do it.
Because I heard that if your phone doesn't move, they think that you are out doing stuff and come back, so they call you or whatever.
They might have called me only that time that I was out doing my COVID test, and that was it.
So
That was it.
when you go into a COVID test facility, you're allowed to go there.
Miraculously, yes.
And then you're not allowed to take taxis or buses.
No, no, I have to walk.
So how far can they take you in a separate bus where you're all alone?
I have no idea. My quarantine place wasn't too far off from that taxi place, so I don't know how other people do it.
So
Like
they
if the health center is super far, I don't know how they do it.
so they put you in a bus from the airport, and then they drop you off exactly where you live or close to where you live.
Well, they put you on a bus from the airport, which takes you to the KTX, which then you take a KTX train, and then you get off out of the station. They put you on another bus that takes you to your quarantine place.
Whatever you say, you're going to get quarantined.
Huh?
Whatever you say, you're going to get quarantined.
Yeah, wherever I say I'm going to get quarantined. They take me as close as they can, and then I have to walk myself the rest of the way.
So, airport, bus, KTX, bus, get off, walk.
Yep, that's how it is.
How long did you walk after you get off the last bus?
Oh, just like 200 meters, but it was uphill. So I was sweating like a pig because I had my suitcases and they were heavy and I had to pull them up.
So would you say people that come from abroad would be transported pretty close to wherever they live?
Well, if you're resident, yes, you're going to be transported to pretty close to where you live. If you're a tourist, I don't think you have an option. You have to do the government. You have to do the government facilities.
Ah, I see. Wow. So, and that bus, the reason why that you were all alone in the bus was because you were being quarantined from everybody else.
And there was no one else because we were all on the KTX.
Uh huh.
The KTX car was full.
So each person that has different destinations from the KTX will have different buses that are going to different places.
That's correct.
Wow.
So depending in Daejeon, they ask like, okay, this region, this side, and then the buses, different buses. There was like 5 different areas in Daejeon. There was 5 different people. I think there was 3 different areas that the buses were taking us to.
So is it free or do you have to pay for the?
The bus in Daejeon is free, but the KTX and the bus from the airport was not free.
I see.
You also have the option of taking a taxi straight from the airport to your place of quarantine.
But it's very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired. I was tired, but I'm not that tired. I'm not going to pay a taxi from the airport all the way to Daejeon.
Yeah, taxi drivers would be able to make a lot of money if they have those kind of passengers.
That's right.
Thank you, Leslie, for answering all my questions. I was wondering how that works and how you enjoyed it, and sounds like you're a lot happier after that rigorous training, and you're ready to tackle more things.
Yes. So anyone who misses home, if you're a foreigner in Korea and you're able to go home, don't be scared of the process. Go home, visit your family. It's definitely worth it. I would do it all over again.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I'll probably see you soon, sometime in the future.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you, Leslie.
All right, Gemma. Bye.
Have a good day. Enjoy your classes.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.